welcome back reefers to another video in the 350 gallon reef build. Today we're going to be taking a look at refugiums, what they are, and my thoughts about having one as part of your sump. Now, I'm a big fan of refugiums. They are a great source of microfauna, produce tons of pods, and with the right microalgae, they can help balance and maintain nutrients in your reef. Refugiums in their own right can be quite beautiful as well. While all of these things are true, I believe refugiums can also be a curse. Depending on your choice of macroalgae and other factors, if your refugium was to crash for any reason, those benefits I mentioned go right out of the window. Decaying macroalgae fouls your water, releases all the nutrients they built up, spikes your levels to holy hell, and all of a sudden you have a lot of work to do in order to get things back in order. And a lot of sumps are built with the thought of incorporating a refugium into the overall water column, even mine. But however, I don't think that this is the best place for a refugium, at least for me. Now, before all of the hate mail starts coming in, I ask you all to consider a few things. Number one, if your tank encounters an issue where you need to dose something that's harmful to macroalgae, how can you dose it without impacting anything and causing more problems than you solve by destroying your refugium? Number two, depending on your choice of macroalgae, do you have a place to adequately set up and safely remove your macroalgae when your dosing is happening? See, what I think is forgotten sometimes is that when you dose anything to solve a problem, you can create a problem if you were to nuke your refugium. Even if everything was going right, if your macro all of a sudden decides to go sexual for whatever reason, you might have a big problem on your hands. So this is what ultimately drove me into having an external refugium. Now, my friends over at Modular Marine, who are responsible for my frag tank and frag tank overflow, were able to actually craft me this fine specimen of an external refugium. Like my overflow box, the refugium features those progressive teeth to reduce sounds and a tall box to maximize water contact with my choice of macroalgae. It also features a cover and built-in overflow to reduce macro, making it into my sump and pumps. The refugium gives me the opportunity to externally plumb it and have it pour into my sump in the exact area that I want it to. Not only that, but if I ever need to dose or quickly take the refugium offline for any reason, I can do so without upsetting my plumbing or filtration. This also means that I can perform periodic water changes on the refugium to remove algae that builds up on the acrylic without taking the entire thing offline. And as for that area in my sump, it won't go to waste. It will be comprised of real air rock sourced out of some of the only areas in the Pacific still shipping rock. But for right now, my source of the rock is a secret. And that's because I don't know who's going to ship it to me yet. Like I said, for this new build, I'm putting everything that I learned over my years of reef keeping and all of the tips and tricks that I believe are necessary for keeping a healthy system long term. This means that I want to recreate as many parts of the ocean as possible and then scale them to size for my new reef. The macroalgae in refugium will act as my kelp and microfauna breeding grounds. The cryptic unlit area full of real ocean rock will introduce numerous organisms found in the ocean, and I plan to barter with other successful reefers to grab pieces of their live rock to introduce a variety into my tank. Will all of this provide me with a bulletproof reef? Probably not. I'll probably end up killing just as many corals as before, but now I have more things to blame for my failure. And with that, guys, I'll wrap this one up and start tackling that box with over $300 in plumbing failure for the next video. Thanks, guys, for watching, and as always, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the flip side.